everything was going right. Fabulous, actually. I had answered prayers. And then same day, wham. Oh, yeah. But what was I expecting? I mean, this hit me out of left field from somebody who I really care about. And were my expectations too high? Should I have even had those expectations? In today's video, we are going to be having a girlfriend chat just about that. When everything goes wrong amongst your answered prayers. Last week was a doozy, let me tell you. I had answered prayers and there's no explanation. My doctor even told me there was no explanation. So let me fill you in if you are new here. Back in August, I was having some health issues and I found out, among other issues, that I had ovarian cysts and I was being tested for cancer, ovarian cancer, and the blood work. So the first of three tests came back that the blood work was good. Well, last week I had to go in for an ultrasound. And when I went in for the consultation with my doctor, she's looking at everything and she literally said to me, "You are an anomaly." She said, "The cysts are gone. Your blood work is normal. There's nothing." She said, "And I can't explain it." In my heart, I knew. I had been doing everything correct for being estrogen dominant. I had eliminated things. I had added things to my diet. I was exercising. I was walking and I was in prayer daily, daily. I knew it was God. God answered my prayers. But then, okay, so I leave. I leave the doctor's office. I am somewhat shaken because I couldn't believe it. And I get in my car and tears are straining down my face as I get to drive to my grandchildren's home to take care of them. And I'm elated and I'm so grateful. And I just was over the moon and I was singing my praise and worship songs all the way to my grandkids. And then that evening, somebody close to me um, broke a promise, kind of let me down, and it wrecked me. Why? You know, it's one thing to have expectations of employees, of your employer, and we all know that you can't count on anything, especially in today's world. You can have a job one day and the next day you can't. And we need to, prepare ourselves for the unexpected, right? But when it's somebody you're close to, or when it's a loved one, and you have um, kind of taken that vow to each other, that pinky promise, your accountability coaches, you're walking this walk together and they fall off this walk, you're hurt. When they don't hold up their end of the bargain, you're hurt. And you may say, well, I just don't hold expectations in anyone anymore. Well, I can understand why. But when you said I do when you got married, didn't you have some expectations? I mean, certainly you didn't go into the marriage thinking, oh, I know this marriage is going to fail. No. I mean, we have expectations for other people. Now, do people fall? Do people fail? Yeah, we're human. That doesn't negate the hurt that you're left with. So you went into this marriage. Let's take marriage, for instance. You went into this marriage with all the hopes that till death do us part, and your spouse fails. He chooses, I'm out. Maybe you chose somebody else. Maybe you chose a different path. I'm out. You're left holding that bag. I was left holding a bag. And what did that bag do? And I think this is what made me most upset on myself. I allowed that expectation of this person to derail the glory of God. So let me ask you, by allowing that, was that a force? We're going to say force. Was that a force diverting me away from the glory of God? Because that force does not want any glory to God. Certainly doesn't. So was that force working as to bring it back so that the glory wasn't to God and I was focused here and I fell for it? Oh, this thing derailed me for days. Now I will tell you, how did I handle it? Well, the first night when I got home that evening, I ended up watching a Hallmark movie. Did you know that YouTube actually has Hallmark movies on it that you do not have to watch the amazing amount of commercials on? Ah, that's one thing about the Hallmarks. I watched Harvest Moon, and it was a sweet story about, the family selling the farm, they're retiring, and it was sweet and it was nice and it was a pure movie. And then the next day I got up. To this day, I have not spoken about um, the expectation or the failed expectation to this person. I let it go. Why? Because I forgave them. Many times in my life, I have fallen short of expectations that people have had on me. And maybe a lot of you will say, well, you never put an expectation on anyone. But expectations still exist. Yeah. If you place an expectation on somebody, what is the likelihood of you getting hurt? Well, Is it a 50-50? I don't know. But what I do know is I've been forgiven for my shortcomings, and I needed to forgive them also. So that's what I did. To this day, I've not spoken about it. I let it go and I put the glory back on God. I put the glory back on God. I put the glory in answered prayers, and I got back on the right rail. So this thing, it diverted me. Oh, yes, it did for days. But then I saw it, I thought about it, I took time to think. I was not reactionary. And if you know me, woo, in my past, oh yeah, I was a reactionary person in my past. I was not. I prayed about it, I forgave them, and I moved on. And I put all the glory back on God to answered prayers. Now, does that mean that things are easy? No, not at all. Nothing is easy. Last week also, we have all this stuff going on with the EBT cards, SNAP benefits, all that. And my heart sunk for groups of people, elderly, uh, single moms who are working and still needing the SNAP benefits. I know how hard it is to be a single mom. I was a single mom. And back in that day in the early 90s, I even applied and used WIC for 1 year. Now, I will tell you this, when I walked in and said, "I don't need this anymore, I got a good paying job," I think the woman's mouth dropped, but that I'm just saying, and I was like, "I don't need it anymore, give it to somebody else who does." And I was grateful. I'm not saying things are like that these days, but there are still some people out there that are extremely grateful. And I know at recording this video, we are waiting on the president to say what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. All I know is this: I had an expectation in someone, and people have expectations in getting these benefits. So, what happens when it fails and it derails you? We have to get back up. We have to keep going, and we have to put the praise where the praise needs to go. And it is not on the government, and it is not on people. They will always fail us. But I will tell you this, back when Hurricane Helene came in, it wasn't the government who were saving these people. No, it was the people. There is still good people out there. And I can attest to what I saw, because if you go back in my videos past a year when Hurricane Helene hit, Pinebrook Homestead orchestrated a drop place for donations from businesses to our development to our community. And we drove a truck and trailer down with goods for the residents of North Carolina. So I know that the people came through. So when everyone sits there and says, "Don't have expectations, you'll be hurt." Well, you might, but people might surprise you. It might be your neighbor who you've barely had a conversation with that is the one that comes over and helps you. It might be that community. I don't think we need to completely get rid of expectations. maybe place them better. I don't know. I'm still working on that. But when it comes to who's going to help, I think we'll be surprised. And it's going to be the people. It's not going to be the government. And it might not be our close friends or family members. It might be him. It's a crazy week. It really was. And I have to tell you, in all of this, it threw doubt in me, doubt of the content I was creating, doubt in maybe I should be doing the homemaking. I was starting the homemaking video, which I've included some of the clips from in the beginning of this video. And I'm sitting there going, I'm a copycat. And then I went, wait a minute. I felt like I was copying all the other homemaking videos. And I'm like, we're all homemakers. It doesn't matter if your kids are grown or you're not, or if you take care of a home, you're a homemaker. And I started to get down on myself, and I can't do that. Why do I do that right when I've come off of having the most glorious, praiseworthy thing happen? I'm healed. And then that force sits right there to make you doubt yourself, because I doubted myself. And that force sits right there to tell you don't put your expectations in people. People are bad. People fail. We failed. They're not bad. Not all. So, to the loved one, I forgive you, just as I have been forgiven. And I'm going to focus more where it needs to be focused. Yes, I am still homemaking and I will share some, but I'm enjoying bringing to you things that has happened in the week, because I believe if it's happening to me, it's happening to somebody else out there, and we need to hear this. We need to continue with hope, hope in ourselves, hope in the good Lord above, and hope in others. At least that's what I like to think. I know there is a ton of evil out there. Oh, I got smacked with it last week. If we keep our eyes fixed where they need to be, I think we'll be okay. I really do. So I wish you all a great week. Do something for you. Keep your eyes focused on the good. Stay reading your scripture. We'll get through this. You know why? Because there's also a biblical expectation too. And if you are a believer, we have that expectation that Christ is coming back. And that is the expectation I'm hanging my hat on. I look forward to seeing you at the end of this week. Until then, have a blessed week. Stay true to you. Know you are loved. You're good, beautiful woman, no matter what we go through. Thank you so much.